Hello everyone, I was wondering if it's possible to create a hand-painted 3D model only using iPad. And that was the base idea of this video, so let's start. I used three apps: Nomad Sculpt for modeling, sculpting and automatic UV unwrapping, CozyBlanket for Retopology, and Procreate for initial sketch and texture painting. In the end, I exported everything and I posted on sketchfab so everyone could see the artwork in 3D. I started by grabbing some references. I found a really nice rock on Pinterest and that was my main inspiration. After that, I sketched really basic concept. 3 rocks on the ground plane. 2 rocks way smaller and ground with some cracks and tiny plants. That's it, nothing special, but it was enough to do the test of the workflow. In Nomad Sculpt I started by placing a ground plane with very low resolution. Then I added a box and with a move tool I changed the general shape to something that looks similar to the reference drawing. After that I remeshed the whole model and I started just playing around with it. I tried to sculpt something that looked more or less like a rock. Mostly I used clay brush, flatten brush and trim tool to nicely cut edges. Next, I exported the model to CozyBlanket. I really wanted to check out how it works as a retopology tool. For this particular model, it wasn't necessary to use it, but it was good for a test ride. CozyBlanket can work really nicely for something more complicated like character or weapon model. It could be very beneficial to have better control over the edges and faces of the mesh. Thanks to this app, I ended up having a nice low poly version of my model that was easier to paint on. After Retopology, I quickly jumped back to Nomad Sculpt. I set the scene and I generate automatic UV maps for each model. In Procreate, first I fill the objects with a flat color and I just started to paint like I normally do with 2D documents. The app works exactly the same. I can use my favorite brushes, create a new layer or use different blending options for layers and so on. So if you know how to paint in Procreate, that should be very easy to paint on 3D object. The three things that you should have in mind are the transform tool, materials, and the scene light setup. Light setup and environment settings. For this kind of art, I found that the best is Studio plus 4 lights even distributed on the scene. Materials. About the materials, each brush has additional setting option for setting the material. We can set up the roughness and metalness of the paint. For this type of hand-painted asset, it is good to have them set on 100% rough and 0% metallic. The transform tool looks a little bit differently. It works like a projector, but the interface is well designed, so it shouldn't be a problem with understanding the functionality. The whole model isn't perfect, but I learned so much during the process. The most important things that I noted down to remember are: first, always search for the references. Those could be a great inspiration, can help you set a whole direction for the project and help a lot when you struggle during the process. It's really good to have at least few references and mix them while making the art. The second one is don't rush with the concept for your model. The more you will design and draw during the concepting stage, the easier it would be later. Here I created very rough and quick sketch because I wanted to quickly move on the sculpting and painting stage, and that was my bad. I should spend way more time on the concept. The third point is create a 3D model based on your concept and references. And the same happened here. I wanted so badly to start painting that I just created a very rough and bad looking rocky thing in the sculpting stage. Fourth, topology should support the model rather than just be a quick and random wire. The fifth, gradients and blending layers can help a lot. 6. Always keep in mind where is your imaginary light source while painting the texture. And one more thing that I checked during this test was that I record the whole process. So in the future I will try to create more videos like this, not only time lapses or quick tutorials, but something a little bit longer. I think that's the end of the video. So thank you all for watching, and I hope this will help you, and see you in the next one. Bye!